chilling with vets, hanging out with vets, just BSing, telling stories, and getting some work done, making flags. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that for me.
Absolutely.
You know, so we had a lot of fun. So you got the whole military coin thing going on, and where, you know, I have them set up here for when I set up a display. You know, I have one hanging upstairs too. I kind of stole them. This is my favorite one, General Mattis right there. I happened to serve for the SecDef back in 2003 when I went to Iraq. I just love that. But having our own is a big deal. And of course, being from Troy, we had Uncle Sam right there. That's something where in the military and in the police, you like do a good job. And instead of getting a medal, whatever the case is, you just get a coin.
And it's earned.
It's earned. Never given.
It's not given.
No.
Ooh.
If it's given, you might as well toss it. Bust a shot. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this floor started my business. Believe it or not, it needs to be cleaned up. The kids have had at it all week. However, my buddy Ryan came over, helped me with it. I did all the research. We went and knocked it out in one day. So I tried to help him, I fed him. You know, I wanted to give him some money. You know, something he wouldn't take anything, and neither would I. So I made him a flag, a thin blue line flag, as a thank you. And one thing led to another. There's a couple of guys, they just saw it, and we just kind of snowballed into this.
Wow.
And that's the first flag came from.
So it all started with this floor.
The
Do-it-yourselfers.
Yup.
And then you want to repay your boy. That's awesome.
Yup.
That's nice too.
Yeah.
Best torch ever.
I wanted to be a Marine for the same reason I wanted to be a linebacker. I wanted to be a part of an elite fighting force and just go out there and blow stuff up. I mean, like the total, like I saw a video recently about one guy said, I don't want a linebacker to eat steak with his fork and knife. I want to eat linebacker that eats with his hands. That's why I want to be a Marine. Just somebody that's just a bad dude. Went out there and did what's right for his country, but was just, you know, trained really well and part of an elite fighting force. I mean, how many people would say that? Part of an elite fighting force. I was 16 years old going to Catholic school, and we did a project on what we wanted to do. Easy for me. I walked in the recruiting office. I was like, hey, I'm not 18 yet, but this is what I want to do with my life. And I walked right into the Marine Corps office. I want to be a Marine. I want to be elite fighting force. Now, I call my godfather. He was a Marine, and he went to the Army he was a pilot, retired as a colonel. I don't have anybody in my family that was in the military. He didn't serve. However, he was like a big role model for me. So I did this project, got an A on it. It was great. And this guy's like, hey, I said, I'll see you when I'm 18. He's like, no, when you're 17, parental consent. Oh. So I came back the following year, and I ended up joining. That put any kind of dreams and hopes of, I'm going to make a choice. Am I going to play football? Well, 5'8", 185 pounds, playing football in college, or am I going to join the Marine Corps and have a career and do this, that? And so I joined with my parents' consent. Went to Marine Corps basic training. I graduated high school May 20th. Because the Catholic school was a little early, and I was in basic training June 5th.
Oh, wow.
But that was my main drive and why I wanted to serve. I was thankful for what I had. I had a great upbringing. My family was very, all about being patriotic. I mean, my mom's from Troy. I heard stories about Uncle Sam. I used to visit Uncle Sam's gravesite when I was a kid. So I had the right upbringing and going to Uncle Sam Day Parade and knowing about my country and how lucky we had it. I remember, 9/11 being a young Marine. And we're going to war. We're crazy. We didn't actually ship out to Iraq until like a year and a little bit more. April of 2003. So you got September 11th. We're like, hey, we're ready to go. We're ready to do this, and you got to train up. And it finally didn't happen full circle. So think about that. All those Marines,
it's crazy.
Training and wanting to go do their job. Yep. That's the biggest thing about the Marine Corps. They want to go do their job. So that's why I joined. Now, why I stayed, might be a little different. You know, this is how I feed my family. This is how, you know, I serve on an everyday basis. But people got it a lot worse. You know, I've been deployed, you know, but it's been a long time now. There's people that have got 5, 6 deployments more. That's real rough. Definitely don't have that, but you know, I serve on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
2003, the invasion in April, we came through Kuwait, and then going up in Iraq, and I was in Nasiriyah. Now, that's the same town where that whole Jessica Lynch ordeal happened. But at that time, think about 2003. You didn't have email accessible. You didn't have moto mail or like a phone. You had a satellite phone that you had to lose a whole night of sleep with just to call 15 minutes home.
You didn't have Instagram. You
no
didn't have
Instagram. None.
You didn't have FaceTime. Nothing. So you're away from. So now, because you were married at the time. No, you weren't
I was
married.
dating my wife.
You were married. Yeah.
I was dating my wife, and I remember being so pissed off. I never got a letter. I was so mad. I'm like, I ain't getting a letter. That's it. When I get home, she's done. You know, we had this thing. Like Jody is back with your girl while you're deployed. You know, your best friend's got your girl. You know, we're like always. Everything becomes a big deal when you're there. And I was like, that's it. We're done. And one day I got a letter with like 30 letters. 30 letters.
30.
Like that, you know?
Got him.
So I was like eating crow. Like, oh man, you know, he's talking all this game. And I you know, I came home, started getting serious, and we got engaged shortly after. Through the VBOC, which is the Veterans Business Outreach Center. So I took this course called Boots to Business. I knew I wanted to start my business, but I didn't know what. So they like gave you the tools. Not all of it applies, you know, if you want to have like a Subway or if you want, you know, to do a franchise, but you learn all this different stuff, and I wanted to start my own business. So I learned the ins and outs about that first. Then I hemmed and hawed on different business plans, and this one woman there who I actually served with her husband, which was great, you know, and she said to me, do what you're passionate about. So I've been working on my house forever, right? Like my father's a carpenter, taught me everything. I love doing it. So I developed this business plan behind, you know, what evolved into Veteran Made. And, you know, it's been a wild ride, but I attribute a lot of the success so far to my experience in the military. I mean, even before that though, football, learning hard work, being aggressive, you know, that kind of thing, that they gave me a lot of life lessons. But then I went to the military. I learned to be an infantryman, to work my butt off. I learned leadership. Then I went and become a recruiter. I was a recruiter, so I learned how to sell, how to work hard there, but how to sell, how to close. Then I applied for a job as an operations guy, so I learned the back end of everything. Then after that, I was a marketing guy for 3 years for the state. So I learned marketing. Then after that, I went to lead a team for a year of 10 soldiers, so even more management. And now I'm back in operations. So we talk about the right type of experience that I got from the military to learn and translate that into the owning your own business. When I first consulted Amy and the whole about my business plan and all this and that, and I had a name, and she's like, you might want to look at this. Like, people need to know that you're a veteran. They need to know that it's veterans making this. People really want to know that stuff. And I'm like, even if you put veteran operated and owned, you need to know that in the name. And you know, I thought about it. I did so much research, and it's really, I've heard from people that is exactly why we got a flag from you. We've heard that they did that emotionally, but we've also heard that, hey, well, you're veterans, so you must have attention to detail. So, you know, we want to go through you than the regular old Joe.
Yeah. No, it makes sense, because, you know, there's a level of pride that comes with, you know, someone who, you know, you're making something that's meaningful to people. So if somebody is gonna, you know, to go through the thought of getting this type of gift made or having it for their own personal use, they want to make sure no shortcuts, you know, are made. So, and clearly, if you're someone who served, you know, our country, you know, you clearly have that level of pride. That, not to knock, you know, us everyday, you know, civilians, but
furthermore, you got 3 guys out of the 4 that are in production as infantry Marines. So even furthermore, we're even extra eccentric, if you want to call it. You know, if you can hit a target at 500 meters, you can cut that straight and perfect. That's a type of discipline, that's a type of attention to detail we bring to it, and that's from we've been wired that way. You know, from when we were broke down in basic to all the way through. And do we get a little rambunctious? Absolutely. You know, but yeah, that type of detail is huge. And even my buddy who's the Army guy that's with us, he's along that same mindset. A big surprise, he's a big football player, right? You know, he had that attention to detail, that hard work ethic, and a quality control, making sure it's all perfect. That is, you know, it's a big part of what we do. We don't want to put anything out there that's bad. Yeah. So anybody who's an entrepreneur should read The Purple Cow. Most have. So I had some mentors. The Rad Soap Company, I'll give them a plug. They're awesome. They're out of Manans, and they gave me a lot of good advice. But they said, read The Purple Cow. So I read it, and it's funny because we got cows on this road, right? You seen them? But you just look and you see a cow, and after a while, you know, whatever. You don't even look anymore. But if you seen a purple cow, you break your neck. You're like, oh, I've never seen that before. And that's what I want my products to be, a purple cow. When somebody looks at it, they're like right to it. It's got to be different. It's got to be exceptional. Either I'm going to do it hard and right, or I'm not going to do it. You know, because why do I want something to I put my heart and soul and work into it, so do my people put into it, and it's going to sit there. That's not what we're trying to do. So we want to make sure we make purple cows. We make something that people are going to hem and haw like, oh, wow, look at that. Tell their friends, because it's that exceptional. That is the whole idea, and that's part of research. That's part of, you know, setting this whole thing up. We get only a certain amount of chances to be great. You know, we get these opportunities, and sometimes it passes people by. This was something, you know, my first business plan was, I look back at it, was awful. Like, no, that was not good. But I'm so glad that I just kept at it, persistent, and I was like, wait a minute, this thing could work. And I took advantage of these opportunities, the right time or not, but we just did it. And now it's snowballing, and it's really going in the right direction. So, you know, other thing, I took some good advice from a lot of different people. One, the Iceman there. Yeah,
Oh,
Matt Phelps. Matt.
Matt.
He didn't tell me a lot. He told me one thing that stuck with me, man. And it was just like in passing. He was talking about business, and he's like, make sure you invest in people. Invest in people. That's what it's all about. You can sell whatever product, but invest in people, this team. And that stuck with me. That was good. And I couldn't be happier with the team I got. I couldn't do it without them. They're the best, you know. And, you know,
That's awesome.
I've always been into the flag. You know, my first tattoo was a Marine Corps tattoo, and you know, I did some red, white, and blue, and it was just bleed red, white, and blue. So I'm always wearing the flag. So when I make a flag, you know, we make them in lots of 20 to 30. You know, it's always good, but you always feel a good sense about it. But in the end is where it hits you. When you get that finish, the high gloss on there, and you're like, oh, that's pretty. You know, like that. That's what we're doing this for. And then the look on people's faces. I think Riverfest, when we were down there in Troy, we sold 40 in one day, but forget about sales. It was about interacting with the people, and it's like you felt so proud. Like you made this, really? Like, yeah. And they love it. And that inspiration through them was really
A group
rewarding.
of people buy it for, you know, their general, their sergeant who's retiring, you know. So clearly now you're making it specifically for somebody who served. I'm assuming there's some type of meaning behind that, or, you know,
Yes.
makes it extra special.
Makes it extra special, and I'm a little more meticulous. I'm like, yo, this has got to be primo, because that's a retirement gift.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot. You know,
Yeah.
wow, we're honored to make the retirement gift. Pretty soon, I'm making 2 right now for Saratoga Police Department. That's their retirement gift after 20 years of service to the city. You know, their PBA decided that's the gift, what we're making. I never thought when we started that's what they would do. But that, yeah, man, that has gone a long way.
Yep.
So recently, I was in a wedding. Guy was my cousin. We grew up together 6 weeks apart, so we're like brothers. And he was my best man years ago when I was in the wedding party. So we're taking pictures, we're doing everything and getting ready and breaking chops. There's a bunch of cops. He's a detective, and oh my God, there's no better ball breakers than that. However, so when we go downstairs to take pictures, I had no clue. He's like, no, we're taking pictures before this wedding in front of my thin blue line flag that you engraved for me.
Oh, wow.
He's like, I'm like, wow, man, this is with everybody? Like, wow, I didn't know it meant like that to you, you know? And so that was cool. That was something that hit me up. It takes me by surprise. It takes me by surprise every time because I try to stay really humble. I don't want to be like, oh, you know, our flags are the best. Well, you listen, the quality speaks for itself. But those little moments like that are awesome. You know, I don't even know what's coming.
Yep. How do you like get people to like start? So I made the flag one time. Let's see if there's people who would have an interest in buying this. Like, how did that?
Well, we started out, we didn't even have a website. So we started out doing like the farmer's market in Troy, set up in front of the VA because I wasn't even in the Troy bid. Just on the weekends, and then also on Facebook, Instagram, social media. But then it's evolved. Now we're doing events. So getting out there in the public has been huge. Just a lot of word of mouth. People see this, and you get a lot of referrals. But almost every type of marketing and reason that goes behind, you know, the skills we got in the military of selling the Army, you know, referrals, this COIs, VIPs, you know, the very important people and centers of influence, you know, take care of them, and it's just snowballed. We gotta, you know, you go over to someone's house and I hear all these crazy stories of like, listen, I see that flag as soon as I go down every single morning, that hangs there. We don't even have pictures up of our family. We got the flag there. You know, we got everybody that comes over, they say how much they love the flag. It's hanging up and right above our mantle, or it's hanging up over our couch. I hear stories like that all the time. It's so inspiring. You hear, you know, there's motivation. And the funny part is that it took us almost a year to put one in our own houses, you know, because we were so busy making them.
Busy making them.
Yeah, we finally did it, you know, and you know, we get comments now. Yeah. Oh, that's one of your flags. You know, we haven't been downstairs yet. So the way I look at it is that this is all mindset. Don't waste any time. It's all in your head. Just like that decision I made when I was like, you know what, enough's enough. I'm gonna get serious in the gym. I'm gonna get serious with my nutrition. That's all mindset. My mind's right. Business, my mind's right. I'm planning my day. I'm making sure that every single thing is covered. To-do lists. I'm waking up an hour early. I'm waking up at 5:30 just so I can get downstairs, do an hour's worth of work before I leave, and then go hit the gym because that's important to me. That's what fuels the fire. So it's all in your head.
You know, what's your message to somebody who may say, well, you know, I got the family, I got a full-time job, you know, and they're using that as their excuse for maybe not doing something that they're passionate about. You know, what would you say to that individual?
Find out what's important to you, because Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best. He said, everybody says, oh, you know, you got to get this amount of food or this amount of sleep. Well, sleep faster. You know, sleep faster. Go ahead, you need 7, get 6, or, you know, 8 or 7. Get up earlier. Do stuff earlier. But to be honest with you, I get going when I actually hit the gym. Make sure my body's going, because I'm doing physical work here. I'm gonna make sure that I'm going and I'm moving and my mind's working. Always working, never waste a second. When I'm in the car, I'm probably listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to self-help, or I'm listening to book on tape. Something where I'm monopolizing all my time so that I'm always moving. I don't sit and watch TV. You know, it's all mindset. What's important to you? I learned about ET because I was hooked on doing Spartan race. I did 26 Spartan race, so I guess I'm always that A type where I gotta be doing something. I gotta be committed to something. So I did all these Spartan races. I was all over the place in the Northeast, and he had this one saying that Spartan race took over. He said, you gotta succeed as much as you want to breathe. And that was like, man, that's what got me. So I want to succeed as I want to work my full-time job and then come home and work 4 hours every day, because I want to succeed. As bad as I want to breathe. That is the real deal.
That's no doubt.
Like, think about starting a business. Say like, oh, I want to make money. I want to do this. I want to do that. All right. Once it's about money, we lost. It should be about passion. The investment of that engraver, that's a huge investment. The building, that's a huge investment. The truck, these aren't toys. These are investments that takes away from the business, but it's going to add. You know, it takes away from your pocket, but forget about your pocket. You want it to grow into this thing that just, you know, exists, and then all that will take care of itself.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up learning from all these podcasts, all these reading, all this research. You gotta just invest. I knew I wasn't gonna take a dime from this business for 2 to 3 years. So you work for free. I'm working for free.
Yep.
But this is mine.
Yeah.
And my people's. That's the other thing. People are like, oh, how's it working for Guad? How's it working for him? I don't think any single person that's working for me right now, they're working with me. You know, I don't treat them like that. Hey, do this, do that. I'm in there with them. The same Army leadership principles or military leadership principles go right into the business. I'm in the trenches.
So obviously, like, you know, we saw that machine. That was a big investment. We won't talk numbers, but like you invested a good amount of money into that. But you had to learn before you bought that machine. You know, I'm assuming there's certain things that you did without that machine. You had to do it on your own.
So thankfully, I knew about that kind of machine because of my marketing experience through the Army. However, I was doing like customization of our flags by request, and I was going to like Hobby Lobby and getting like wooden letters and epoxy them to there so like I could actually customize it. Somebody wanted Troy, New York on it, so I would customize it with these raised wood letters. And I was like, there's gotta be a better way. Like, it looked good, but it wasn't. Like, this is next level, the engraver. And, you know, I see people out there using stencils. Nah, that's not a purple cow. That's not what I want. It's not exceptional. It's not different.
You can disagree if you want, but like, there's a certain value though in having those growing pains of that sweat equity of doing everything. You know, yeah, there are certain machines that can do it more efficiently and even better, honestly. But to start though, when you're someone who doesn't have those resources, you gotta build it. You gotta grow it. You know, you gotta grow into that. So, you know, on the flip side, I feel like you definitely learned along the way by actually, you know, getting
that was
your hands.
essential.
You had to do it, right?
I had to do it. I learned that way. And they say they're like, oh, some people that have been in business forever, people ask them, hey, does it get any easier? Yeah, it gets easier if you stop growing, if you stop innovating. Like that's not good. Being stagnant is not good in entrepreneurship. So we always got to be taking it to the next level if you want to stay relevant. That's what I think. So yeah, I had those growing pains, but what did I do about it? You know, I tried to evolve, try to go forward, and maybe there's something else. You know, hey, maybe I'll engrave the top of a dining room table, a door, whatever. Maybe it's not engraving. Maybe it's one day going back to school and learning AutoCAD and how to use a CNC machine. That's involved.
But the point is, you know, you don't want to stop learning.
I don't want to stop learning. I want to keep on going. But at the same time, I don't want a machine making my product. I want it to still be handmade. The accent can be used by a machine, but I want it to be made by veterans. I want it to be a handmade item that's made by people, not a machine that just, you know, manufactures it. I want it actually done. This up with the torch, but now this piece of wood needs to hit the table saw. So unlike some other people out there who are making flags and whatnot, they're just doing all strips. But we like to make sure that we have the box as a solid piece, the star box as a solid piece. So we'll cut that, Then what we're left over with, every piece is individually cut. Cut each individual piece, then stain it. Then it goes off to my assembler Ryan, who, you know, he takes all this product that's stained and painted, puts the stars on it with a stencil, with paint, and then puts the flag together.
Wow.
So when I say star box, that's what I'm talking about. This is one solid piece of wood, okay? So here, we're cutting these strips individual, this individual, and this is also individual, so it's all put together with specific specifications that we had. So I want this box in one piece, as opposed to 13 stripes and just taped off. You know, to me, that's not a professional piece in which you're gonna hang in your home. I want it to look like the real flag. You know?
So this is before the gloss.
Before you get your after
Look at the
inside.
finished product.
Well, the same one is not totally done yet. However, you got these over here that are totally finished.
Yep. So this is the finished.
Finished product. Yep.
Nice.
Thing. Now this is actually for a guy. That's the first of its kind. I've never done that one before.
Conor McGregor?
No, Conor McGregor. Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Color City Painting, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, painting company had us paint a flag.
That's awesome.
No, yeah. So
These are cool.
cool thing about this, that's for a Marine I went to Iraq with.
Oh, wow.
You know, so these are all drying. The thing is, they get 3 to 4 coats of poly, so it's a little bit of a
Time.
drying process. Yeah, time. So this is a small little shop, but we're gonna take it outside. It's gonna be a lot bigger.
Do you have a favorite flag that you that's near and dear, if you will?
Yeah, personally, my favorite flag happens to be the one I have hanging in my house, and that's Rustic Glory. Now, maybe that's because we have a real rustic home and it's a country setting, but you know, that one's near and dear to my heart. Old Glory is something that you know, was big, but also I happen to like this one as well. Kind of a rendition on Ragged Old Flag. That's where this one came from. I was listening to Johnny Cash, and there's a song / poem, Ragged Old Flag, and that's where this one came from. So, you know, it's just burned up, got some weathered look to it. So I love this one. I love the Old Glory flag we got over there. Anything that's torched, it gives it a lot more character. You know?
Nice.
So this is an assaulting flag, and a lot of people say, why is it backwards? Well, this one, because of the olive colors, this is our operator flag. So anything that's assaulting forward, my Army uniform, I got my patch on my shoulder, it's the flag, and it looks like this, because we're always moving forward, we never retreat. So when you move forward, that's the way that flag looks. It's always moving forward. So this is a popular type flag we just started making because it resonates with a lot of people. Someone that's deployed, someone that's been, you know, in this kind of a military mindset.
And it's kind of like you can't be, I mean, you give it to somebody who's a regular, everyday civilian, but really, it truly resonates a little bit different with somebody who you know, served.
Yeah, and it's in itself, you got the designations, the thin red line for firemen, the thin blue line for police. Then we got this one over here, which, since we're Marines, we take the blood stripe, the Marine Corps blood stripe. You ever see it on the pants?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's the Marine Corps blood stripe.
Oh.
Okay? So that's why that's a Marine one. It's got that blood stripe going through. There's a lot of history, man, with that. So that's a big sense of pride in the Marine Corps. So making that little personalization, the differences. What about people who, police officers in law enforcement, but they also are patriotic? Of course they are. This flag right here was something we developed for my Sergeant Major when he was retiring. This one isn't finished yet, but the whole idea, he was retiring and going to the police force.
Like you said earlier, like it has, you know, it has a personal story behind it, or I should say a meaning behind it that's symbolic to whoever's getting it, which, you know, adds to that,
This one
sense
itself.
of pride.
Yep, the meaning behind this one's for fireman support. So you got a fireman. Well, we're getting a fireman in our family. That's a big deal. But furthermore, My family was helped by firemen. We had a house fire 8 years ago. Displaced for 90 days, 3 months. Firemen saved our house, so you know that's something that's near and dear to our heart. We have a flag over in Albany Fire Department as well, so that's a big deal. They're not as popular as the Thin Blue Line, but whatever. We're gonna keep carrying because, like I said, they saved our house.
Yeah. This is a great way to honor those guys.
Absolutely. Cool, we recently did a photo shoot that was awesome. It was in front of 1945 Speed and Custom.
Jeremy, what up, Jeremy?
Boy, right, yeah. And then on top of that, Jessica LaChance, who's actually tattooed me before, she's got Miss Dixie's Pinup Parlor. She was our pinup. You know, she came, and that's just a historical thing that I thought goes well with the flag. It was such a cool experience because talk about bonding, talk about like getting together and doing something cool together, taking pictures and just camaraderie all together. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun. I think everybody had a lot of fun, and you know, we need to get together more. You know, I figure like we're the type of people that use your everyday guys with rambunctious. Like we're gonna have a barbecue just with us and come over here and have a Nerf
football
Nerf
game.
war. No, Nerf guns and stuff,
Nerf guns.
all together, like, hey, do this and just have fun. That's what this is about. Building the team, having fun, because we have fun working together. We also like hanging out. And that one experience of having that photo shoot was not only uplifting and build camaraderie, but it was fun.
No, and I'll link that too. I'll make sure people see that. 'Cause I saw that on what is your Instagram?
Veteran Made NY.
Veteran Made NY. But you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook?
Yep, Veteran Made Woodworks LLC. Yep. So it'll come right up. Just put Veteran Made Woodworks, it'll come right up. So Instagram's kind of like a year old. I got into Facebook first, and it's definitely good.
And then you have a website. Someone wants. Obviously you go to different shows like you mentioned.
VeteranMadeNY.com.
VeteranMadeNY.com. Oh, who's this one?
That's Miss Princess.
That's the princess.
Isabella. Oh, she's shy.
She's shy. It's okay.
So we ended up building a bunch of walls, and the reason is we have to have a nice background for when I showcase anything, but at the same time, we're doing a lot more events. I got 4 events upcoming, so this is one of 4. So being carpenters, they can easily erect it, put it together, and it's like my own little storefront at a show or at a festival or whatever the case is. So 6 foot tall, me being 5'8", no big deal, right? And I get to fit 2 to 3 of them there. And I have a whole section in which we set up our own little storefront, and we have all of them showcased and displayed where people can come by. Hey, wow, look at this, all the different types. This way they're not just seeing one American flag. We have like 30 different versions of the American flag, so we put them all on display.
But now, we spent pretty much the entire time talking about the flag, which obviously that's the core of your business. But do you do other custom work for individuals or businesses that may want to, again, not saying they're not patriotic, but they may want to get something else for their home?
Rustic furniture is up and coming, a big thing. So I do a lot of rustic furniture. I've done a lot of big jobs recently where I'm building furniture. That I absolutely love doing. Gets away from the flag, which is fine. It's cool to branch out and do something different. But that's where the creative mindset comes in as well, and it's totally custom. Hey, you want it? Luckily, I got the mindset and the creative juices going. People give me pictures from Pinterest. Can you do this from Pinterest? Can you do this from Pinterest? Sure, we can do it. Draw it up and get it all done. And I call my father my woodworking consigliere. Yeah. So if I don't know something, I'll ask him, and he'll help me out. But usually we can do anything custom.
So hey, there you go, guys. It's not just the flags. If you want, an end table, you want a desk, you want a bed frame, anything. My man Anthony can help you out and get that done for you.
Also, train myself on how to the stuff you don't like. about business, tracking the money, tracking the orders, all the financials. That stuff isn't fun for anybody, you know. So, but you have to invest and learn how to do that. How do I do formulas on Excel? I have some infantry guy learn how to do formulas. You know what I mean? Like I figured it out. YouTube, all that stuff. If it's in there in the shop, I know how to do it. Wow. But this is all acquired skills and stuff that's out of necessity. We went and did this logo, and the cool thing is that this logo right here,
rep the logo,
is something I created with my daughter's colored pencils. You know, I kind of was like, hey, this is my idea, my concept. I drew it out, you know, as if I would do a custom piece of furniture. And I used her colored pencils, took some time watching TV, like did it. And I brought it to my buddy, who's a vet, right? I always wanted to go to like a vet, and he went and digitized it. So once we digitized it, we put the V and the M together, Veteran Made, put the military camouflage, the American flag, and, you know, it worked out. And as you can see, you know, we got t-shirts and stuff and all this apparel that's going to be coming out. That's the next step, and what you're going to develop to try to get the brand out there, get some nice stuff where people, you know, will like it. I don't know how many people asked about this hoodie.
That's nice. No, that's what I was saying. Like, that's a dope, that's
a
nice shirt, man.
Yeah.
Being greedy, you holding it on for yourself.
That's the next step.
People want some veteran made apparel, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the next step. We're at a couple events and get some.
That's cool.
Some nice apparel out there.
Handsome guy there.
Oh yeah. I know that guy.